Kevin, what is up?
My wife and mother-in-law haven't spoken really since about February, March of this year. And this is the first kind of holiday season without them talking to each other. I want to try to be the best husband I can for my wife, and I know that my own mental capacity, I try to fix things all the time, so I'm trying to see what's the best thing I can do, how's the best way I can be supportive for her.
So why aren't they talking?
Well, it kind of goes back a little ways, but my mother-in-law struggles with alcohol abuse. This kind of spring and summer, she went into a couple rehab facilities. I think I can't remember how many different ones, but the first one she was kind of forced into by my sister-in-law. And because she came over to our house when we set the boundary of not having any alcohol in the house, and she brought alcohol into our house. So we kind of cut off communication there because we have little ones.
Yeah,
you did
the absolute right thing there. I'm proud of you for that. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. So bring me to how can I help you guys right now? Is your wife just struggling, crumbling under that broken relationship, or how are you caught in the middle of this?
So we've gone and we've helped her set up a couple counseling sessions with a Christian counselor. It's been going good, but I noticed around Thanksgiving that it was eating her. It was eating at her a little bit.
Yep.
That she wasn't seeing her mom. I don't know if it was a part of guilt. I don't know if it was just missing her. But I know that it was eating her, and I know that Christmas is coming up around the corner.
Yep.
So I want to be as supportive as I can.
So Kevin, you are husband of the year. Good for you, brother, for just wanting to be there for your wife and for recognizing you're an advice giver and a fixer, and that's not what's going to help in this moment. Awesome. All right, so here's what your wife is feeling. All of that. She is grieving a fantasy that is dead and gone. And the fantasy is most people's wish, what should be, is that our moms are there for us. They're whole, they're connected, they show up to a warm house with a fire and great food over Thanksgiving. And your wife's mother is in rehab, again, is disconnected because she brought alcohol into your home in violation of the boundaries you drew for her. So your wife is grieving, she is sad, her fantasy is busted up, she misses her mom, and that just sucks. And then you are astute, man. Christmas comes on the same day every year, so here it comes. So here's what I want you to do today. I want you to tell your wife that you want to have a conversation about Christmas and her mom, and you want to do it in a couple of days. And I want you to ask your wife to write your mom a letter that write her mom a letter that she's never going to send. A letter about how she feels. A letter about how she misses her. A letter about what she's missing with her grandkids. And a letter that says, I hope that we can reconcile someday, but not now. And I want your wife to write that letter, and then she's going to read it to you. She's going to read it to you, so she's going to have to be vulnerable and open with you. She's going to read that letter to you, and then you guys are going to make a plan for Christmas together. And your wife is going to inform that. Of course, you know where you want it to head, where you want it to be. But she's going to inform the season. And it's not going to include her mom. And you're going to hold her hands during this process and just look her in the eye and say, this sucks and I'm sorry. And what you're doing for her is you're creating space. You are moving things out of the way so your wife can have space to grieve and just be sad. And here's the thing, Kevin. This may just be a sad season. This may be the season where the fantasy, the luster, the shine is wearing off. And this is just going to be what this is going to be, at least for 2020, maybe for 2021, maybe forever. And so by writing a letter to her mom, she gets all these thoughts that are weighing her down. She gets them out of her head and on paper. They're directed to a person, and by saying them to you, y'all are going to have a connection, a vulnerability connection, an intimacy connection, and she's going to say the words out loud. Mom, here's how I feel. Here's what you're missing. Here's where I'm pissed off. Here's where I hate what you have done, and here's where I hope deeply that we can come back together someday. And then y'all are going to plan out what Christmas is going to be, and then you're going to have to make space for your wife just to be sad this season. She'll be joyful, but this is going to be a season for sadness. And what we're going to hope that that plan will help. But you're going to have to work on you this season, Kevin, because your wife's just going to have to grieve this. So the greatest thing you can do is create space, give her the opportunity to, tell her you're there for her, tell her that you love her and you're supporting her. Take a deep breath, drop your shoulders, and then head on into the season. Kevin, I'm proud of you. You're a good husband. Good for you. And let's get through this, all of us together.